y'all. Hey. Whew. Welcome back. I am Melissa Berrien, your host of Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. You read from the headline, you read from the title, you saw the thumbnail. We are continuing our coverage of this worldwide breaking international news that Russia has definitely invaded Ukraine. And I wanted to come on because, like I said, we're going to unpack this. There's some people that have loved ones over in that region and they are concerned. So I'm coming at you not only so that we can have this discussion, but also to hold your hand. Some of you need your hand hold, and I understand that. That's why I'm here. So anyway, hold on to your seat. There's been reports that there's airport seizures, seizures of the airport as well as Chernobyl. That is very, very significant. This whole Chernobyl thing. It's crazy. Hey, Shatika, good to see you. Now, listen, I did my makeup real quick, Russian. Hey, Sophia, good to see you. I'm so glad you are here. Y'all, I have my coffee. We in for the long haul. I got some, I think some brunch on the way. My husband, bless his heart, is doing that. But in the meantime, I have some Ritz crackers. I'm here. Coffee. Listen, the only thing I need to do every now and then is take a potty break. I am here with you guys. Now, here's the thing. Let me go with the first set of breaking news. If you have not caught up, it's okay. Stick around. This is what we're doing today. Russia has definitely invaded Ukraine. Now, I know that a lot of people, hey, Kombucha, good to see you. I know that a lot of people are suggesting that Biden was asleep at the wheel throughout this whole thing. I'm not here to argue presidents, Trump, this one and that one, but I will say this. Biden administration definitely forewarned everyone that this was going to happen. Of course, not many people are going to give him credit because they want things to go bad. You know, this is kind of reminiscent of when the night Obama became president, the very night. And I think it was Rush Limbaugh and it was someone else. And they said, you know what? I am determined to make sure that he will be known as the worst president of the United States. So people's response to Biden in this moment is giving me the same energy. We will not give Biden his props, his kudos, or anything. So help us God. And as a matter of fact, we're going to blame him. So with that being said, it's been reported that the Ukraine forces, so let me share this with you. First of all, the markets, financial markets are just crashing and down. And I'm looking at, they're all down at least 1%. All right, so here we go. I wanted to update you guys on this Chernobyl. There's a lot of videos. I'm going to be showing videos. If you're sensitive to that, let me tell y'all something. I woke up not too long ago and I was I was intrigued because I didn't realize how, Lord, I don't have on mascara, anything, Jesus. Anyway, I actually it was a semi-nightmare. Like I didn't wake up in sweats or whatever, but I definitely carried the emotions of this to sleep. And I went to sleep and I just dreamt about some gun violence stuff or whatever. And so, yeah, I can't even imagine if you have a loved one over there, how well you slept or didn't sleep or whatever. So anyway, hey, Sophia says, I subscribe to you. Yes, hope your day is going well. She's like, hey, Sophia. So anyway, friends, consume as much as you can, but definitely take breaks if this is triggering for you, or if you're like me, a total empath. Like I'm thinking of these families on both sides. I'm not the type where I just wish bad on people just because their president is bad or just because they're bad people. You know, yes, they're because again, the civilians are the ones that are going to pay the price. So let's look up this Chernobyl thing because that's, hold on. Twitter. Analysts are saying that, you know, just like myself 2 days ago, most people probably, and those involved in the market, probably didn't foresee this actually happening. Most people call Putin's bluff. I don't know why we did that. Yeah, I read her comment. I'm 50, so Chernobyl is what we don't want to hear again. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, so let's look it up. It's being confirmed or reported rather. All right, here we go. Chernobyl. We don't want that. So they're saying that. So Vadim Pryseiko, Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, says Russian forces are entering Ukraine via the Chernobyl exclusion zone, which is not protected, and there is radiation and nobody lives there. So you don't want this. You don't, whether people live there or not, we don't need the ground and the dust, smoldering up again. And that's what people are saying. And some people even suggested, like, hey, will this bring about a cloud of radioactive material over that area? So let me show you. We do not. I do not have on any, but that's okay. It just shows like, hey, Melissa. All right.
And the scale, although we were talking to most of them, I had the privilege to talk, we were discussing most of the ways, and most of the ways we sort of foresaw at that time were now happening. Like they're coming through the excursion zone of Chernobyl. This zone is not protected because there is radiation, nobody lives there. They now came through this particular unprotected part of our borders through Belarusian territory.
So you see, the Ukrainian ambassador to the UK is saying, like, hey, we kind of predicted that this is what they were going to do because they are entering into, and so this is what Trump is calling crafty. I forgot what he said, slick, noble. I forgot. Basically, he praised Putin, right? And so what Putin is doing is he's occupying the weaker or unoccupied parts of Ukraine. And that's what he's doing to kind of gain power and then move in. And what analysts are suggesting is it's pretty much like taking a nibble off of a cookie in order to eat the whole cookie. And what people are saying is, just as I was reporting, this is not a small operation. We are just seeing and coming up on the very beginning of this operation. If you think, and like I said the other day, if you think for a moment that Putin is going through all this song and dance and parading of troops. I mean, people are still reporting the influx of a convoy. You think he's doing all of that just to go, just kidding. I'm going to back out now. It's all out now. It's all out war right now. Biden's press conference has been pushed back to 1 o'clock, I think it was. And I'm not sure if I've been waiting on Biden to do his press conference, but they taken a while. Yes, they pushed it back. And I want to say 4 o'clock East Coast time. So 1:12 our time, kombucha. So I'll check again. Yahoo stated that Vladimir Putin wants to replace Ukraine. This is so serious. Yes. So that was one of the things that the analysts that I read about, one of the analysts, and that's what they were saying. So basically, he's like, listen, this is my territory. I want it. And so first I'm going to bite off a nibble here. I want this part of Ukraine. It's unoccupied. As a matter of fact, I'm your leader. So then it suggested, like, because they did start protesting, I'll show you guys that. The people are in Ukraine and they're like, no war. And I feel sorry for them. Like, I want to tell these people to run and hide, like go find shelter, go find safety. But they have taken to the streets and they're like, no war. So what more are they going to do as the Russian troops are coming in and trying to seize their area? It doesn't look like Ukraine is backing down. I have reports and read and saw reports of people with family members who have family members over there. Family members are afraid. They're on the phone with their family members and they hear bombs and everything. This is insane. And again, I'm not a fearmonger person. I'm not a, doom and gloom, but this is serious, guys. I really do think this has global implications. And yes, kombucha, I cannot wait till the press conference tonight. What is happening? Oh, okay. Thank you. Melissa, evening from Britain. Melissa, my first time here. Hey, Ale, Israel fella. I hope I said that right. Ale, good to see you. Good afternoon. Good mid-morning for me. It's still morning. It's 11:18 here in Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States. Thank you for joining in. We are kind of unpacking the breaking news. We just heard from the senior ambassador to Ukraine, the UK, to the UK. So yeah, let's get on this. So they are confirming that they are going into this unoccupied territory that's very much radioactive. Not smart, guys. All right, so this is the Sparrow Project, and they're saying that there are a lot of people discussing why Russia would want to take an old Chernobyl plant. That was my first thought. As I was getting ready for the live, a lot of people, that's my first thought. And one of the people that I was listening to, why Chernobyl? It's unlikely that they actually want that plant itself, but the Chernobyl exclusion zone could prove as a useful corridor to move ground troops by way of Belarus towards Kiev. Guys, and that's what it's about. It's about military strategy. How much of the cookie do I need to bite to get to where I need to go? So if you look in the red, that's the present day exclusion zone. So we see Russia at the top right. If you look and you see Belarus at the on top of the exclusion zone where Chernobyl is, yeah, that only makes sense. That only makes sense. I was listening to this TikToker who's in Ukraine, and she was very, very concerned. And she was like, I can't sleep, that whole thing. But one thing that she was explaining, was how, they're fighting. They're not going to yield to Russia. And so overnight, after I got off the live, I was looking at some videos. And even when I woke up, and that's the sentiment, like the people of Russia, the people of Ukraine are like, no, we're not backing down. And one analyst said, you know what, that could also lead to people trying to recruit the citizens for the military, that type of thing. This is just a mess, y'all. This really is a mess. I'm watching British Skies news right now as I'm typing. Girl, keep me. I think it's a girl. Nope, it says fella. Give me. So one thing we do on here, welcome for those who are new. You guys are all my co-hosts. So if you come across something, lead me to it and I can show the game. So definitely. Texas News said that Trump mistakenly said the U.S. was attacking Ukraine on Fox 4. Now NBC5 stating that the U.S. are allegedly getting bomb threats. Not a good look. Sophia, you were on here last night when we were having this. Yeah, I know you're a dude. I caught it. I'm sorry. You were on here last night when we were having this whole great debate as to whether, Trump is needed in this moment. And respectfully, and is this Biden's fault? Because that's the commentary as well on some people. I don't ride for either one of them, but I think it's weird to blame a Biden for this. It's so weird because number one, you know what I said? I'm not going through that. I'm not. So anyway, you're welcome. Wrong. It's about Russia taking back land that was theirs for hundreds of years. Okay. Listen, we all have an opinion over here. We all have an opinion, and you're welcome to yours, Red 5 Golf. So if you believe that this was Putin's territory, then that's your opinion. Try not to get anxiety, people. It's easier said than done. I know. No, it's okay. If you're wondering, Belarus is Belarus. Belarus. Thank you, Belarus. I am wondering. I told y'all my co-hosts, because I will chop up a foreign word, unfortunately, especially on that end, on that side of the world. Sorry about that. If I made you guys triggered you with my mispronunciation. Belarus. Thank you. Belarus in Russian means friends of Russia. Wow. Saying that the U.S. is bombing Ukraine isn't a mistake. No, Trump doesn't make mistakes. We know that. Let me get comfortable because I told y'all I'm in for the long haul. I got my coffee. Listen, I had one leg in and one leg out, and I was like, girl, you're not going nowhere. So you may as well get comfortable. Yeah, no, Trump doesn't make mistakes. And he thinks this is a game. He's eating off this just like, as far as I'm concerned, he is so geeked off this just like he was on January 6th. That's all I'm going to say on that. Belarus is the only country in Europe to have the penalty of ending your life penalty. Gotcha. I don't want to say that because it's bad enough. YouTube is freaking out on all of us that are reporting. They're like, nope, no monetization on that. Anyway, this is a photo. It says Ukraine breaking President Zelensky confirms Russian invasion forces trying to breach Kiev through the Chernobyl exclusion zone. I don't know why I keep saying excursion. Probably because I want to go on a cruise. I just want to sail away for like 30 days on a cruise, a protected cruise, and just enjoy the food, folks, fun, and sunshine. Just get in my bathing suits, switch them out, and just let y'all handle this. So maybe that's why I'm saying excursion. I'm on a cruise somewhere, but it's the exclusion zone. Any indiscriminate shelling in this area could be disastrous for all of Europe. Again, it's a it's not a neutral zone. Like, it's not okay, but they don't care. It's all about dominance. It's all about dominance. All right, so what is this? What is this? Okay, I was telling you guys about the protest. Let's click on this. Are you gonna let me? Nope, you're not. So let me find it. All right, what's this? President Biden, okay, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, President Biden now expected to deliver remarks on Russia. So we'll listen to that. Geez, this Chernobyl thing is crazy. I want to find the protest because I did let you guys know. So here's a different map. Excuse me. This is a different map. Breaking Russian troops have entered Chernobyl exclusion zone, fighting ongoing, advisor to Ukrainian Interior Ministry says. So that's what they're doing. They're taking small bites of the cookie to, as some people say, reclaim their territory, as others would say, to invade and to take over. It depends on how you view it, who you are in support of, and all of that. So what is this? This is footage from earlier today, allegedly showing Russian invasion forces in Chernobyl. So this is the actual footage. My internet is like, I don't know. Let's let her reload. She's not loading. Shucks. Well, while that's loading, God bless you, Miss Bearing, for the sneeze. Oh, thank you. I have terrible allergies this year, and I don't know why. Haven't Russia and Ukraine been beefing for decades? How is this caused by Trump or Biden? I read the other day since 2003. I want to suggest that it was even before that. That's what I really get frustrated, for lack of a better term. Like, you really, again, this, for those that are blaming Trump to a certain degree, because we did see the way, as far as I'm concerned, Trump cowed to Putin. Absolutely. We saw it. They want to say, oh, he was, no, he looked like a little mini mouse, like a little mouse in a room with Putin. But to say that this is Trump's fault, to say that this is Biden's fault, come on now. Like, the bipartisan foolishness gets kind of out of control here in America. Like, you know, it's one thing. Listen, if there's someone that I don't like or whatever, and hell, at almost 49, if I'm still talking about, oh, I don't like that person, and as far as middle school games are concerned, something's wrong with me. So I don't go there. And even, I mean, yes, there are people that I don't like, but I mean, like, from a mean girl point of view. All right. That's not me. But if there's someone that I just have a complete disdain for, but they do something that's cool, I don't have a problem. I'm okay and secure in my womanhood, in my who I am, all that other stuff, to say, you did that, girl. It's okay. This whole ostrich head in the sand. Nope, Biden's not doing anything good. Trump didn't do anything good. That's ridiculous, folks. There's good in each presidency. There's terrible in each presidency. But if you don't see it in any of, like, come on. But that can be a whole nother video. I understand YouTube policing, patrolling hard. Yes, they are. Hard. I'm like, come on, YouTube, like, for real. AI, do you have a YouTube channel? Ayo. Something tells me that your name is Ale, and it pronounced Ale. Ale Israel fella. Give me the pronunciation, Ale. It was stated on Yahoo News that London is really worried. I don't blame them. Russia is playing Russian roulette, but not taking the gun. Exactly. And that's what one of the people on TikTok was saying. They was like, listen, we are concerned. You know what? I should connect my phone so that I can start sharing some of these TikToks. Let's see. So, yeah. Americans get on my nerves. We think everything is about us. Everything is about us. Everything is about our political parties. And it's just nuts. You should be able to be secure in who you are. If you really are whatever party you belong to, but our other party does something well, like, dang, it's okay. Like, you know, it reminds me of high school sports. You'll be there in a second, kombucha, like with the blink of an eye, child. You're going to look and baby's going to be graduating. But anyway, it's just like being at a high school sport and the other team does something, just mollywops your team with the play. You can't help but be like, whoa, or whatever. It's the same thing. This whole idea, Sleepy Joe, and all that's cute. Like, you know, he's asleep at the wheel, which I don't think he is. I think that Joe Biden is definitely maneuvers as a president differently than a Trump would. And it would be very, very interesting. And of course, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know. We can only go by what his statements are on Fox and everything else. What Trump how he would have responded in this. All right, let's see. So let's look up some more news going on here. Let's see what breaking news, because I think we're all waiting on this Biden press conference. That's what I'm waiting on. Okay, here it is. So this is the protest, y'all. This is crazy, folks. This is crazy. Low key, like, if I didn't know any better and if I wasn't not stupid, but if I was an ignorant American, like, this looks like downtown Vegas. Like, this is like, you know, a crowd, like they're just watching the Super Bowl champions coming in. But no, their country is at war. It has been invaded. Troops are coming through saying whatever they're saying while they're chanting no more war. This is insane. And in true modern human behavior, what are they doing? Oh, Jesus. Wow. Wow. So here's a different angle of that same protest. Leave a comment down below. Like, would you say that this is effective? I'm going to mute it and we watch it. Like, instead of being in safety, finding safety, you just never know what you would do in this situation. You know, think of whatever city you're in, whatever state you're in, becoming controlled by a foreign military presence. Do you stay in your house, or do you go down to the local grocery store or the local downtown plaza and do as these people are doing? I can't even judge because I don't know. I can't even fathom the thought of, I would hope that I'd be, but where do you go? What do you do? Canada won't let us in. What do you do? Do you bug out? Do you stay in? Do you go in the basement? How do you connect with all your family members in other states and say, come on, we all just need to be together at grandma's house or whatever? These people have chosen to be in their local square. It probably gives them a sense of safety, a sense of community, a sense of what the hell, like all of that. I can't even. All right. So that is Pushkin Square, maybe less than 1,000 meters from Red Square and the Kremlin. It is a city of significant protests. These people know the risk of challenging the regime. They're on the street in spite of major personal costs. So this is Russia. So let me rephrase that. That's even more significant. They are challenging the Kremlin. And, unlike the United States, and generally speaking, these people can receive death for being out there. So that brings it home even more. Dan Rather is saying the final moment one can control a war is the moment one chooses to start it. Wow. Let me like that. Someone says, I'm thinking of Yara, Julia, Natalie, and Andrei and their families in Ukraine and Moldova. I hope they are all safe. I thought about 90 Day Fiance too, like I said, in my silly American way, I thought about all these people that we come to know through not social media, reality television. And yes, the 90 Day people that were in Ukraine and their families. I absolutely thought about them. This is crazy. So I guess we're talking about what's affected. And again, I don't know. Someone says, do they live near the areas affected? And someone made a great response. They said, so if you live in New York City, Los Angeles getting bombed by Russia wouldn't affect you. Exactly. The selfishness of humans, man. I don't know. Let's see. Breaking news. Jennifer Jacobs says Biden and the G7 leaders have agreed on a package of sanctions and other economic measures. So, my friends, are you excited about those sanctions? Are you excited about that breaking news? Because here's the thing, like at this point, you're on full out war. Do you think Putin really cares about your sanctions? I don't know. No, don't say that. I'm having a boy too, and I'm terrified. A high school with a boy, girl, with the blink of an eye. My oldest will be 30 in August, and I'm like, where does the time goes? He just went on a trip. Well, he just left today to go visit his girlfriend, and I'm like, no, you're in preschool. Like, who told you to have a soon fiance? Like, no. It goes like a blinking of an eye. It's crazy. So enjoy every moment and don't stress out about any of it. Most things. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, Professor Black Ops. And it's still a whole ass panini going on. These poor people, these people in hospitals are immobile. Exactly. Melissa, I don't have a YouTube channel, but around April 2023, I might have a channel. When I make my channel, you'll be the first to know. Thank you, Ale. You need to have personal incident response plan. Exactly. That is one of the things that we were talking about, and we have talked about on this channel. My husband and I kind of beefed up that conversation. This can have global ramifications in our lives on a global scale. And I don't mean global as far as the world is concerned, but meaning affecting our whole entire life. Expect cyber attacks. Absolutely expect, I believe what they're saying as far as bomb threats here in the United States. The Russian community, unfortunately, if you are Russian American, we already know how ignorant Americans respond when there's something that they feel you're responsible for. Shout out to all our Chinese Americans, and may God continue to protect them because they're getting it because of the panini. So yes, you need to have a plan. What if A, B, C, D, E happens? What am I going to do? A contingency plan. Because just like 2 days ago when I thought, Putin's just talking trash. That was my bad. Because I was like, if he was going to do something, he would have done it by now. But just as Biden was warning, the analysts were warning, dude, no one goes to a border just to sit and say hi. Okay, some do, but you don't mess with a Putin doing that. So he attacked, and here we are. So now we have to plan for that. Melissa, the pronunciation of my name is Ayil. Oh, Ayil. Imagine saying Kyle without K. Ayil. Ayil. Oh, nice. I like that name, Ayil. I really like that name, Ayil. My kids have very different names, so I like that. Sophia says the sad thing is people need to be aware that it is stated that Putin secretly started Bitcoins. Wow. Because he knew little people as well as millionaires will take the bait. I'll delete this after you see it. Perfect. Make sure you delete it. Okay. Yep. London is very worried. Wait, Io. Exactly. Look at me. Yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to connect my phone so I can show you some of these TikTokers in real time, and where they're just coming on and they're like, pray, 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 pray. And it's just not people in Ukraine. The people in Ukraine look like a hot mess. They're afraid, but they're not ready to give up what they feel is their territory. There was a Ukraine flag waving protest here in London in support of Ukraine. Nice. Hey, Professor Black Ops. Yes, I agree. My husband and I have a plan if anything ever happens, a meeting point, etc. You must. You must. You know, it was so funny. This is how triggered, for lack of a better term. Like, I'm not panicking, but definitely we should be alarmed. And when you watch everything from last night, definitely triggered. So it was so funny as I got off the live last night with you guys. I literally almost told my kids, okay, you're not going to school tomorrow. And I was like, dang, like this really has me going because I know the implications here. No, do you think that they're just gonna attack Ukraine and not try to go after other territories in cyber? But I thought it was so funny from a psychological aspect that I was so worked up that I was prepared to go out my room my family room and go talk to the kids like, okay, you're not going to school. This is what we're going to do. And I was like, whoa, calm down. And if I can be transparent, what I didn't do was release all of that off me, which is why I ended up having the nightmare that I had. I should have released all of that. But it was just interesting. As soon as I hit end live, my first inkling was like, okay, so what's the plan, kids? You're not going to school, because they drive and all of that. And I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Isn't that interesting? Leave a comment down below if you're like if you're an empath like me. Like, I'm a complete empath. And so I'm reporting, and yes, we're going through this, but I also have to be very, very careful because I take it on. And I'm the type where, for an example, when Katrina happened, this was me fumbling through all and crying with the man that lost his wife and praying like I'm a mess when it comes to stuff like this. Anyway, thanks, Melissa. You're welcome, Ale. Wait, Elon didn't create Bitcoin? Listen, John, good afternoon, good morning here on the West Coast. Nope, it's not 12 yet. Good morning here from Phoenix. I couldn't even begin to tell you anything about Bitcoin other than it's a thing that people say, no, I'm not worried. It's not worry. John says, Melissa, don't worry. It's not worry. I can't just explain what it is, but it's not worry. Like, I'm not worried or whatever. It might be nosy. Is it nosy, y'all? Because I'm not nosy, but it's interest. It's interest. I am an empath in the sense of I feel for these people, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. But I probably was triggered last night at some level because literally I hit end live and I'm like, okay, kids, you're not okay. You're not going to school. This is what we need. And then I was like, wait, wait, you're not in Ukraine. Chill. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm just being transparent. But the weird part about it, John, is no, I'm not. It's not fueled by fear or worry. I don't know what it's fueled by other than my need to know what's going on in the world. That makes sense. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Kombucha, peas. Melissa, the pronunciation sound of my name is like playing shopping aisle. It's all good. It's all good. I love it. I love different spellings of names, and I love different pronunciations. And so, yeah. If you take money from the rich, it's straight up disaster. Plan for anything. They're the ones not prepared. Child, listen, that was one of the questions that people were saying last night, where they were like, listen, if this has any nuclear implications, wouldn't Russia be affected? But here's the thing. If Putin is somewhere way north Russia, nowhere near these people, he don't care, because it's clear. We woke up this morning and they're entering Chernobyl. So yeah. Isle is like laughing at me and my pronunciation. It's so funny. All right, Isle. Now you mentioned shopping, Isle. I got it now. Hell. Yes. So here's another tweet talking about the seizure of the Antonov airport right outside of Kiev. Okay. Someone, Olga, who's in Ukraine, she says, I don't even have words. I don't even have words. Someone says, I'm not an expert at secret warfare or anything, but it seems stupid to announce all the secret ways we could cyber attack Russia on national freaking news. Absolutely. Let's keep stuff a little bit on the low. We don't have to know everything, but we live in a day and age. As I said, people are on TikTok talking. People are on social media talking. So you can't really keep it a secret. All right. Let me see. Let's see. Why is Palestine trending? So Israelis protest against Russian occupation of Ukraine from occupied Palestine. So this is what So yeah. All right. So we're waiting on this press conference. We will definitely unpack that together as that is happening. Let me see if you guys said anything else. Professor Black Ops, Sophia says, cyber for the people, 3 of mine were frozen white screens with unmarked gray lines, and I'm a nobody, but I know a lot. They're sending a message. Wow. Yeah. And that was one of the things that somebody that I was following, I can't remember who said it. They were like, listen, you worried about a cyber attack? That's already started. I mean, there are some people that are reporting on their YouTube channels. They've had so many bots, and even more an uptick after this happened. So what is this? All right. This is the part that gets me. Like, why, Melissa? Why would you do this? Why do you watch this? Why do you care? It's stuff like this. It's photos like this. As I'm scrolling, I'm praying. Like, y'all, look at this. Israel has killed more than 5,200 Palestinians, including some 1,200 children during the four full-scale military offenses in Gaza since 2008. This is what matters to me. The children, the families, the citizens. And when I see stuff like this, when I see breaking news, an invasion in Ukraine, this is what I know will happen. This is a consequence, in other words. So I literally cannot just turn my head. I can't. I'm just that person. I'm sorry. I can't. And some may say, well, Melissa, what does breaking news do for you? Like, again, I'm in the know. I know what's going on, but also, I don't know. I just can't put my head in the sand and just be like, oh, well, sucks to be you. It's just not me. It may be somebody else. It may be you guys, but that's not me. Okay, so this is what they're doing. They're like, oh, you guys are crying about Ukraine, but what about oh, he's talking.
Today's actions, we've now sanctioned Russian banks that together hold around $1 trillion in assets. We've cut off Russia's largest bank, a bank that holds more than 1/3 of Russia's banking assets by itself, cut it off from the U.S. financial system. And today, we're also blocking 4 more major banks. That means every asset they have in America will be frozen. This includes VTB, the second largest bank in Russia, which has $250 billion in assets. As promised, we're also adding the names to the list of Russian elites and their family members that we're sanctioning as well. As I said on Tuesday, these are people who personally gain from the Kremlin's policies, and they should share in the pain. We will keep up this drumbeat of those designations against corrupt billionaires in the days ahead. On Tuesday, we stopped the Russian government from raising money from U.S. or European investors. Now we're going to apply the same restrictions to Russia's largest state-owned enterprises, companies with assets that exceed $1.4 trillion. Some of the most powerful impacts of our actions will come over time as we squeeze Russia's access to finances and technology for strategic sectors of its economy and degrade its industrial capacity for years to come. Between our actions and those of our allies and partners, we estimate that we'll cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports. It'll strike a blow to their ability to continue to modernize their military. It'll degrade their aerospace industry, including their space program. It'll hurt their ability to build ships, reducing their ability to compete economically. And it will be a major hit to Putin's long-term strategic ambitions. And we're preparing to do more. In addition to the economic penalties we're imposing, we're also taking steps to defend our NATO allies, particularly in the East. Tomorrow, NATO will convene a summit. We'll be there to bring together the leaders of 30 allied nations and close partners to affirm our solidarity and to map out the next steps we will take to further strengthen all aspects of our NATO alliance. Although we provided over $650 million in defensive assistance to Ukraine just this last year, let me say it again. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies and reassure those allies in the East. As I made crystal clear, the United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power. And the good news is, NATO is more united and more determined than ever. There is no doubt that the United States and every NATO ally will meet our Article 5 commitments, which says an attack on one is an attack on all. Over the past few weeks, I ordered thousands of additional forces to Germany and Poland as part of our commitment to NATO. On Tuesday, in response to Russia's aggressive action, including its troop presence in Belarus and the Black Sea, I've authorized the deployment of ground and air forces already stationed in Europe to NATO's eastern flank allies, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Romania. Our allies have also been stepping up, adding the other allies, the rest of NATO, adding their own forces and capabilities to ensure collective defense. And today, within hours of Russia's unleashing its assault, NATO came together and authorized and activated an activation of response plans. This will enable NATO's high readiness forces to deploy and when and where they are needed to protect our NATO allies on the eastern boundaries of Europe. And now I'm authorizing additional U.S. force capabilities to deploy to Germany as part of NATO's response, including some of the U.S.-based forces that the Department of Defense placed on standby weeks ago. I've also spoken with Defense Secretary Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Milley, about preparations for additional moves should they become necessary to protect our NATO allies and support the greatest military alliance in the history of the world, NATO. As we respond, my administration is using the tools, every tool at its disposal, to protect American families and businesses from rising prices at the gas pump. You know, we're taking active steps to bring down the cost, and American oil and gas companies should not exploit this moment to hike their prices to raise profits. You know, in our sanctions package, we specifically designed to allow energy payments to continue. We are closely monitoring energy supplies for any disruption. We've been coordinating with major oil producing and consuming countries toward our common interest to secure global energy supplies. We are actively working with countries around the world to elevate collective release from the strategic petroleum reserves of major energy consuming countries. And the United States will release additional barrels of oil as conditions warrant. I know this is hard and that Americans are already hurting. I will do everything in my power to limit the pain the American people are feeling at the gas pump. This is critical to me. But this aggression cannot go unanswered. If it did, the consequences for America would be much worse. America stands up to bullies. We stand up for freedom. This is who we are. Let me also repeat the warning I made last week. If Russia pursues cyber attacks against our companies, our critical infrastructure, we are prepared to respond. For months, we've been working closely with the private sector to harden their cyber defenses, sharpen our ability to respond to Russian cyber attacks as well. I spoke last night to President Zelensky of Ukraine, and I assured him that the United States, together with our allies and partners in Europe, will support the Ukrainian people as they defend their country. We'll provide humanitarian relief to ease their suffering. In the early days of this conflict, Russia propaganda outlets will keep trying to hide the truth and claim success for its military operation against a made-up threat. But history has shown, time and again, how swift gains in territory eventually give way to grinding occupations, acts of mass civil disobedience, and strategic dead ends. The next few weeks and months will be hard on the people of Ukraine. Putin has unleashed a great pain on them, but the Ukrainian people have known 30 years of independence. They have repeatedly shown that they will not tolerate anyone who tries to take their country backwards. This is a dangerous moment for all of Europe, for the freedom around the world. Putin has committed an assault on the very principles that uphold the global peace. But now, the entire world sees clearly what Putin and his Kremlin allies are really all about. This was never about a genuine security concerns on their part. It was always about naked aggression, about Putin's desire for empire by any means necessary, by bullying Russia's neighbors through coercion and corruption, by changing borders by force, and ultimately by choosing a war without a cause. Putin's actions betray a sinister vision for the future of our world, one where nations take what they want by force. But it is a vision that the United States and freedom-loving nations everywhere will oppose with every tool of our considerable power. The United States and our allies and partners will emerge from this stronger, more united, more determined, and more purposeful. And Putin's aggression against Ukraine will end up costing Russia dearly, economically and strategically. We will make sure of that. Putin will be a pariah on the international stage. Any nation that countenances Russia's naked aggression against Ukraine will be stained by association. The history of this era is written. Putin's choice to make a totally unjustifiable war on Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Liberty, democracy, human dignity, these are the forces far more powerful than fear and oppression. They cannot be extinguished by tyrants like Putin and his armies. They cannot be erased by from people's hearts and hopes by any amount of violence and intimidation. They endure. In the contest between democracy and autocracy, between sovereignty and subjugation, make no mistake, freedom will prevail. God bless the people of a free and democratic Ukraine, and may God protect our troops. Associated Press, Zeke.
He hasn't been taking questions, so okay.
What interactions have you had with the Russian government?
I heard the first part. Do I have any plans to speak with Putin at this point, and what?
What communications have you had with the Kremlin as far as military operations in Ukraine and making sure this does not spiral into a larger conflict?
Well, it's a large conflict already. The way we're going to ensure it's not going to aspire to a larger conflict is by providing all the forces needed in the Eastern European nations that are members of NATO. NATO is more united than it's ever been, and I have no plans to talk with Putin. Wall Street Journal, Tarina.
Mr. President, you didn't mention SWIFT in your sanctions that you announced. Is there a reason why the U.S. Isn't doing that? Is there a disagreement among allies regarding SWIFT and whether Russia should be allowed to be a part of it?
The sanctions that we proposed on all their banks have of equal consequence, maybe more consequence than SWIFT, number one. Number two, it is always an option, but right now that's not the position that the rest of Europe wishes to take. Cecilia Vega, ABC.
Sir, sanctions clearly have not been enough to deter Vladimir Putin to this point. What is going to stop him? How and when does this end? And do you see him trying to go beyond Ukraine? And a second question I'll just give to you now. This statement that he gave last night, the threat that he gave, the West will face consequences greater than any you have faced in history. Is he threatening a nuclear strike?
I have no idea what he's threatening. I know what he has done, number one. And number two, no one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening. It has to show, this is going to take time, and we have to show resolve so he knows what's coming. And so the people of Russia know what he's brought on them. That's what this is all about. This is going to take time. It's not going to occur. He's going to say, oh my God, these sanctions are coming. I'm going to stand down. He's going to test the resolve of the West to see if we stay together, and we will. We will, and it will impose significant costs on him.
Will he go beyond Ukraine, sir? Do you see him going?
Yes.
Thank you. Two topics, just really quick. First, markets are down and gas prices are up. I know you always stress the difference between Wall Street and Main Street, but everybody seems to be in for some economic pain. How economically painful is it going to get for people in this country? And I do have one more question.
First of all, there's no doubt that when a major nuclear power attacks and invades another country, that the world is going to respond, and markets can respond all over the world. So there's no doubt about that, number one. Number two, the notion that this is going to last for a long time is highly unlikely as long as we continue to stay resolved in imposing the sanctions we're going to impose on Russia, period. What's the next question? I'm sorry.
The next question is, did you underestimate Putin, and would you still describe him the way that you did in the summer as a worthy adversary?
At the time, he was, I made it clear, as an adversary, and I said he was worthy. I didn't underestimate him. And I've read most of everything he's written. Did you read? I shouldn't, I'm not being a wise guy. You heard the speech he made, almost an hour's worth of speech, is why he was going into Ukraine. He has much larger ambitions in Ukraine. He wants to, in fact, reestablish the former Soviet Union. That's what this is about. And I think that his ambitions are completely contrary to the place where the rest of the world has arrived.
And with his ambitions, you're confident that these devastating sanctions are going to be as devastating as Russian missiles and bullets and tanks?
Yes, Russian bullets, missiles, and tanks in Ukraine. Yes, I am.
Thank you, President Biden. If sanctions cannot stop President Putin,
What the hell was that answer?
I didn't say sanctions couldn't stop him.
You've been talking about the threat of these sanctions for several weeks now.
Yes, but the threat of the sanctions and imposing the sanctions and seeing the effect of the sanctions are two different things. They're two different things. And he's going to begin to see the effect of the sanctions.
And what will that do? How will that change his mindset here, given he's
Because it
attacking
will so
Ukraine as we
weaken his
speak?
country that he'll have to make a very, very difficult choice as to whether to continue to move toward being a second-rate power or, in fact, respond.
You said in recent weeks that big nations cannot bluff when it comes to something like this. You recently said that the idea of personally sanctioning President Putin was on the table. Is that a step that you're prepared to take? And if
It's not a
not,
bluff, it's on the table.
sanctioning President Putin?
Yes.
Why not sanction him today, sir? Why not sanction him today, sir?
Mr. President, if I can, you detailed some severe and swift new sanctions today and said the impact it will have over time. But given the full-scale invasion, given that you're not pursuing disconnecting Russia from what's called SWIFT, the international banking system, or other sanctions at your disposal, respectfully, sir, what more are you waiting for?
Specifically, with the sanctions we've imposed exceed SWIFT. The sanctions we imposed exceed anything that's ever been done. The sanctions we imposed have generated 2/3 of the world joining us. They are profound sanctions. Let's have a conversation in another month or so to see if they're working. Yes.
Can I ask you about Zelensky? Sir, you spoke to Vladimir Zelensky yesterday, sir?
What's the risk that we are watching the beginning of another Cold War? And is there now a complete rupture in U.S. and Russian relations?
There is a complete rupture right now in U.S.-Russian relations if they continue on this path that they're on. And in terms of a Cold War, that depends. You have the vast majority of the rest of the world in total opposition to what he's doing, from Asia to South America to Europe to around the world. And so it's going to be a cold day for Russia. The idea, you don't see a whole lot of people coming to his defense.
And are you, if I could follow up, sir, are you urging China to help isolate Russia? Are you urging China to help isolate Russia?
I'm not prepared to comment on that at the moment. No. Yeah. No. He's had his hand up a long time.
Thank you, Mr. President. How concerned are you that Putin wants to go beyond Ukraine into other countries and the U.S. will have to get involved if he moves into NATO countries?
Well, if he did move into NATO countries, he will be involved. We will be involved. The only thing that I'm convinced of is if we don't stop now, he'll be emboldened. If we don't move against him now with these significant sanctions, he will be emboldened.
So did they just cut him off? Huh. Let's see. Bruh. Okay. He's okay. Let me see if I can find it on a different thing, because all right, here it is.
Again, to impose sanctions in response far.
Is it just me?
Beyond the steps we and our allies and partners implemented in 2014. And if Russia goes.
All right, that's just a soundbite. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else, because that just cut off. Let's go whitehouse.gov. All right. Let's share this.
With the United States on Russia?
We're in consultation with India today. We haven't resolved that completely.
One more question.
Okay, thank you all very much.
I'll rewind a little bit to see what we missed. All right, I'm gonna rewind just a little bit to see what we missed, because for some reason it cut off.
They cannot be erased by people from people's hearts and hopes by any amount of violence and intimidation. They endure. The contest between democracy and autocracy, between sovereignty and subjugation, make no mistake, freedom will prevail. God bless the people of a free and democratic Ukraine, and may God protect our troops.
Mr. President.
Associated Press, Zeke.
Be in for some economic pain. How economically painful is it going to get for people in this country? And I do have one more question.
First of all, there's no doubt that when a major nuclear power attacks and invades another country, that the world is going to respond, and markets can respond all over the world. So there's no doubt about that. Number one. Number two, the notion that this is going to last for a long time is highly unlikely as long as we continue to stay resolved in imposing the sanctions we're going to impose on Russia, period. What's the next question? I'm sorry.
The next question is, did you underestimate Putin? And would you still describe him the way that you did in the summer as a worthy adversary?
At the time, I made it clear as an adversary, and I said he was worthy. I didn't underestimate him. And I've read most of everything he's written. Did you read? I shouldn't, I'm not being a wise guy. You heard the speech he made, almost an hour's worth of speeches, why he was going into Ukraine. He has much larger ambitions in Ukraine. He wants to, in fact, reestablish the former Soviet Union. That's what this is about. And I think that his ambitions are completely contrary to the place where the rest of the world has arrived.
You're confident that these devastating sanctions are going to be as devastating as Russian missiles and bullets and tanks?
Yes, Russian bullets, missiles, and tanks in Ukraine. Yes, I am.
Thank you, President Biden. If sanctions cannot stop President Putin, what penalty can?
I didn't say sanctions couldn't stop him.
You've been talking about the threat of these sanctions for several weeks now.
Yes, but the threat of the sanctions and imposing the sanctions and seeing the effect of the sanctions are two different things. They're two different things. And he's going to begin to see the effect of the sanctions.
And what will that do? How will that change his mindset here, given he's
Because it
attacking
will so
Ukraine as we
weaken his
speak?
country that he'll have to make a very, very difficult choices of whether to continue to move toward being a second-rate power or, in fact, respond.
You said in recent weeks that big nations cannot bluff when it comes to something like this. You recently said that the idea of personally sanctioning President Putin was on the table. Is that a step that you're prepared to take? And if
It's not a
not,
bluff, it's on the table.
sanctioning President Putin?
Yes.
Why not sanction him today, sir?
Mr. President?
Why not sanction him today, sir?
Mr. President, if I can, you detailed some severe and swift new sanctions today and said the impact it will have over time. But given the full-scale invasion, given that you're not pursuing disconnecting Russia from what's called SWIFT, the international banking system, or other sanctions at your disposal, respectfully, sir, what more are you waiting for?
Specifically, with the sanctions we've imposed exceed SWIFT. The sanctions we imposed exceed anything that's ever been done. The sanctions we imposed have generated 2/3 of the world joining us. They are profound sanctions. Let's have a conversation in another month or so to see if they're working. Yes.
Can I ask you about Zelensky? Sir, you spoke to Vladimir Zelensky yesterday, sir.
What's the risk that we are watching the beginning of another Cold War? And is there now a complete rupture in U.S. and Russian relations?
There is a complete rupture right now in U.S.-Russian relations if they continue on this path that they're on. And in terms of a Cold War, that depends. You have the vast majority of the rest of the world in total opposition to what he's doing, from Asia to South America to Europe to around the world. And so it's going to be a cold day for Russia. The idea, you don't see a whole lot of people coming to his defense.
And are you, if I could follow up, sir, are you urging China to help isolate Russia? Are you urging China to help isolate Russia?
I'm not prepared to comment on that at the moment. Wait, no. Yeah. No. He's had his hand up a long time.
Thank you, Mr. President. How concerned are you that Putin wants to go beyond Ukraine into other countries, and the U.S. will have to get involved if he moves into NATO countries?
Well, if he did move into NATO countries, he will be involved. We will be involved. The only thing that I'm convinced of is if we don't stop now, he'll be emboldened. If we don't move against him now with these significant sanctions, he will be emboldened.
And,
Look, well, anyway.
And can you talk anything more about your conversation? Mr. President.
Why not defense partner for the sir,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
sir, India, which is a major defense partner of the United States, is India fully with you on the issue of Ukraine and Russia?
Does the Defense Department of the United States?
So India is one of your major defense partners. Is India fully in sync with United States on Russia?
We're in consultation with India today. We haven't resolved that completely.
One more question.
Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you.
Well, folks, there you have it. That was the press conference from the President of the United States, Joe Biden. And so let's discuss. I took some notes because there were some things that I was like, and I want to see what you guys thought about what he was saying. The first thing that he said, and Kombucha caught it, I'm sure we all caught it. He was giving me vibes of, we're not going to be involved, but we are involved. It was really weird. So what I said, our allies not fighting Russia. So it was a play on words. So the question was sort of like, the statement was, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like, no, this isn't going against Russia. If we go into this, we're not sending troops to combat Russia. It was very much a play on words. But then he turned around in the same breath and said, but we are there, we will be there to defend our allies. And I wrote that it was a play on words. That's exactly what he's doing. He's like, you know, for you guys' talking points, no, we're not gonna, you know, be a part of that so that we can invade Russia. That's not, or to like, this is not a Russia-United States thing. However, to justify if he does have to send, well, he's already sending troops. He said it. Then he turns around and says how he's sending troops and all of that. So leave a comment down below. Let me know if you were like me on that part where it was definitely a play on words. He's definitely sending troops. He's just letting you know, like, don't start the soundbite. Don't start the talking point that I'm sending troops to go against Russia. No, I'm sending troops to fight alongside of our allies. That's exactly what I got out of it. Let me know if I'm wrong. Sophia says, Vladimir Putin switches coffee before sipping it. He knows people don't like him. He knew the airstrike would cause a reaction. He's the one starting the action. So it's his game now. Exactly. Game on. What else did I say? Did I type? So that was one of the things, because I talked about this yesterday. I wrote down how he says no one expected the sanctions to prevent Russia from doing this. He's just trying to disarm them, so to speak, financially, so that, as he stated, it would hurt their country. It will weaken their country. And I don't know if that's an effective tactic at this point, with Russia being such a powerhouse and as they're seizing territories. I don't know. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know. What else did I write down? He was saying how Russia's intention was never for peacekeeping. It was never a peacekeeping mission. Biden came in and he was like, listen, this mission, this invasion was never about peacekeeping, as much as this is what he was saying. And I've been trying to tell you guys this whole entire time. It's all about reclaiming the former Soviet Union. And I agree with him on that. So let me know what you guys' take was on this press conference. Let me know what your take is. In the meantime, I'm going to look up some reactions, responses, and then we'll head over. All right. All right. Piers Morgan has something to say. Piers Morgan always has something to say. They'll critique this man to no avail. So Piers Morgan says, Biden just laughed several times during his Ukraine press conference. What the F is he finding so funny? Does he not realize the gravity of the situation? I don't think he was laughing, ha, 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 Piers. I really don't. Does he not care that so many innocent people are being murdered? What a horribly inappropriate and shameful moment. I didn't see laughing. And Jeremy Padawer says, I just watched the presser. I didn't catch laughing. He was smiling the whole time as if nothing was happening. I didn't get that. I didn't get that he felt like this was a lighthearted moment. I didn't get that feel. If you did, leave a comment down below if you agree with these people, Pierce and a few other ones. But I think that the times we did see him smiling, it was as a result of the reporters. I think the reporters were trying to bait him. He knew it. And then there were several times, you know, when you're in a situation, you're like, I can't say that right now. I can't say that. That's what I got. He knew he was about to go off or say something crazy, and he caught himself. And typically when we do that as humans, we laugh about it a little bit because we've said it in our head, whatever the snarky comment was or whatever. But I don't think at all. I don't agree with you, Pierce. I would if it was applicable, but no. Jacob B says, think it was that the reporters were told to have one question and they kept on trying for two. I don't know. We never know, but I didn't get that. I didn't get the disrespectful tone from Biden. I mean, if you look here, he's squinting as he normally does. I didn't get that. I didn't get, you know, and again, I think it's just the curse of we have to find Biden wrong in this situation. Like, it don't matter. He could have had the perfect speech. He could have had the perfect speech and they still would have found something wrong. So let me share this. This is Russian troops seized Chernobyl after fierce battle with condition of nuclear storage unknown as bomb hits ship owned by NATO member Turkey in Kiev sends citizens to shelters ahead of bombing. So, you know, that just kind of, let me show you these pictures. That kind of just solidifies what Biden was saying. Like, listen, everyone's on high alert. If he starts going for the allies, we're definitely coming forward. But again, I got out of the whole conversation that basically he's saying, don't start your talking points that I'm going after Russia. Nope. I am supporting the allies. It's a play on words. I think the troops will be over there if in action, because they're already over there. They'll be over there in action. So this is Ukraine strikes back. Kiev troops shoot down 5 Russian helicopters, destroy dozens of tanks, and capture scores of troops as Putin's forces suffer heavy losses. Okay. So if you look to the right, that's the helicopter. So remember, as of last night, this was unconfirmed. And again, when you're unpacking stories like this, one side's going to say one thing, the other side's going to say another. So until it's confirmed, and it appears here that that's the Russian helicopter, those are Russian troops. So I guess what we were reporting last night is true. Sits in front row of. Okay, so apparently this is Sean Penn. He is sitting in the front row of a UK press conference after flying to war-torn Kiev to film a war document. That's a bit tone deaf, but hey, I guess if you want to know how it's like, okay, you got to fly there, I guess. Character study. Putin will decapitate the Ukrainian government in Kiev and install his own. Pentagon issues grim predictions as they detail full-scale Russia assault with 100 missile strikes and 75 jets launched from Crimea to, Lord, how does she say? Belarus. I think I did it right. So this is, we showed this last night. This is, okay, this is good. Again, I like to show maps as often as I can. So remember, towards the right over here are those 2 territories, the right of Ukraine, the right border of Ukraine are those 2 territories that were deemed independent of Ukraine. They are in the striped. And that's where it's being said that that's how Russia is planning. Like I said, just biting off the cookie before he takes on the whole Ukraine. Okay. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. I'm gonna close that, head back over to Twitter in a minute, but Russia could care less about closing any monetary acts. Exactly. A wounded lion will be allowed to get back up. Putin putting on a show. Plus, if Russia needs money, they have more friends than I do. I feel that everything is overwhelming for President Biden. I'm an American, and I really hope he find a way to go on and stand up. I don't know. I want to hear from our military. I really do. I want to hear from our military, because what we're not getting, and I think which is being interpreted as weakness, I think what we're not getting is that united front. You know, usually in previous times, you have the president and he's coming out with such a strong message, and then he has his Joint Chiefs of Staff standing there right there, giving their own take of everything. We didn't get that from Biden. We don't have that from Biden. We didn't get it from Trump. And definitely, like I said, during this press conference, I think that's the power that we're missing. What is he basing all of this on? You don't have his Joint Chiefs of Staff standing next to him saying, yes, we back the president. This is what we're doing. Our guys are ready. We're ready. Watch out, or whatever. That is the weakness that is being, I believe that's why the weakness is being displayed. If you look at him as, if this was any other situation, that speech would have been fine. Whatever, say whatever you have to say. But when our troops are involved, our country is involved, we want to see the military, that that standing up, we're not playing. I think that's what we're missing. Well, as far as any military actions, Biden is such a bad liar. He is easily read, unfortunately. So what are you saying? Do you think he's going in? He's absolutely using our troops. It's just a play on words, as far as it was a play on words. He said, what did he say? Our troops will not be involved because we are going after Russia. He said, however, they will be involved to protect our allies. Do you understand? It's just a play on words. It's a play on words, in my opinion. All right, let's see. World news. Let's see what the heck else is going on. All right, so this is a nice aerial view of and if you could use nice, of the Chernobyl plant. And as we started the live, yes, Chernobyl has been taken over by Russian forces. And this is an aerial view of that area. It's unoccupied, but it's very much still radioactive. It's unsure what's being stored there. It's unsure what's live in that area. It's impossible to say the Chernobyl nuclear power plant is safe after a totally pointless attack by the Russians. This is one of the most serious threats in Europe today. Ukraine, let's see, advisor to the Ukrainian presidential office, Mikhailo Podolyak, says. So people over there are really taking this thing seriously as they should. All right. Yep, play on words, exactly. My daughter calling me. Hold on. I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm live. She was like, oh, hey, live. I'm like, girl, they don't hear you. And then she just goes on to this whole conversation. So yeah, I'm glad I muted it, because she's asking me about family coming into town and all this stuff. Anyway, Yes, troops will be used because he said it weeks ago. Play on words, indeed. Exactly. So I just want to make sure y'all heard what I heard. Let's go to Twitter and see the response to his speech. So someone says, yes, sanction Putin. Breaking news, Russian TV is now showing Trump's praise on Putin to justify the invasion. And someone says, and there it is, folks. How is a former president praising Putin? Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. So this is John Aravosis. Okay. He says, yes, Russian TV is now showing Trump's praise of Putin to justify their invasion. If you missed it, he went on Fox. I think you said, Sophia? He was on Fox today praising Putin. So of course they're going to use it. Of course. Not surprised. Yes and no. And I will talk to my husband more about that. But I think Congress doesn't have to approve to deploy troops. So for an example, oh, we're just sending them to Poland or whatever. But to activate in war, I think so. But I also think that there's an override that has to happen. And I can check with the minister with that. As a matter of fact, but yes. But again, he's not outright saying that's what we're doing. He's sending troops surrounding. You know, it's almost like telling a kid, don't touch the iron, and they're all around it trying to touch it. Let's see. And Fox News was praising Putin themselves as recently as last night. Time to start freezing Russian assets, starting with this one. And there's a picture of Trump. So let me share this with you. People are really responding to this Trump thing. I have a whole brother in the Marines. I should ask him. Listen, I have a whole They do, but he does need permission, but I don't think he needs permission to deploy the troops to that region. But to activate in war, he typically does. But I almost remember my husband, and I don't want to quote him being a whole retired soldier, but I remember him saying like it's almost like protocol, but he doesn't have to. I think. Oh no, yeah, he's been sending people. My friend is a major in the National Guard, and he told us 2 weeks ago he's going to Germany. Oh, absolutely. So no, he doesn't need permission to send them to the region. Again, this is all play on words. Yeah. Hey, Mosaic, good to see you, girl. We just over here unpacking this news. Let me show y'all this. My food is downstairs getting all kinds of cold. I'm so hungry and sleepy. I was been up all night with this. Well, not all night, but with you guys. Anyway, so breaking news, Russian TV is now showing Trump's praise of Putin justifying their invasion. Okay. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. One thing I do like about some of the former presidents, if they didn't like what the current presidents were doing, they just shut up about it. They just shut up about it. But one thing they did not do is go to someone who is a deemed enemy and be like, boy, that was cool. That invasion that you just did, yo, like what the hell is Trump thinking? Come on, all y'all Trump supporters talking about, oh, he would have been on Putin and no, come on, stop. He would not have. He was not tough on Putin, but whatever. Anyway, it's getting real. Listen, isn't it? I'm gonna go eat. I typically don't eat. Yep, it's 12:30. I don't eat early anyway. But yes, girl, it's getting real. You being a retired service member, thank you for your service. I know my husband respectfully is like, you know what? I can't watch it. He's like, I seen it. And for him, he's like, people's comments trigger him. not only the memories of him actually going on deployment, being in active situations like this, war, however you want to call it, Afghanistan, Iraq, all of them, several times. He was gone more than he was home. But he's like, you know, people just don't know what they're talking about. And he said it makes him angry because they're so swift to say, you know, go, don't go, do this, do that, but they're not the ones fighting. And they don't know how it is to feel like a troop. And just like I said, as a soldier, they're ready. They are ready. Our American troops are ready. Now, is this something that they're waiting eagerly? Yeah, there are some crazy ones. I mean, you know, Marines are waiting. Listen, all the Marines I know are like, tell me where to go. Tell me where to go. Them Marines be cracking me up. Army is probably like, oh, hell. Okay, what's up? Where we going? Air Force is like, okay, we're going to do this. But my point in saying that is, as soldiers, as retired military members, family members, we know what the households are feeling right now. And it's not as simple and as whatever, that's them. It's not that easy. It's not that easy at all. Lots of civilians, casualties, the children. We don't know about our children going to war. And I'm talking 7, 8, 9, whatever. We don't even have a clue. My husband will come home with stories. I mean, you don't know. We don't know that. So you don't even know the psychological effects that's happening for our retired military, our active duty military, our family members who are the wives that are like, are they going? Are they not? You know, what's going on? I don't know. So yeah, Sophia. So they are using the soundbite from former President Trump to justify their invasion. All right, so Peter Doocy was the one in the press conference that asked Biden, did he underestimate the invasion? And I don't think he said I didn't underestimate anything. All right, I'm not doing all that. Wow. Someone says, who's to say Trump didn't already know of Putin's invasion plans in advance? If only we had some record of the private discussions during the previous administration. If only, right? If only. One will never know. But hey, or they said, or after, remember he had classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. I think they should seize the phone logs from Mar-a-Lago, see how many people went to Russia. Y'all, listen, I can't even. Someone says, never forget that the entire Republican Party collaborated with the traitor who sought and accepted election interference with Putin. Some say that's factual. Others saying, oh, it's not true. It's just a talking point. So whatever. Let's see. All right. So what are we talking about? New Donald Trump again repeatedly praising Vladimir Putin from a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser tonight, attended by North Carolina Senator candidate Ted Budd and Nevada Senator candidate Adam Lassett. Let's see what he said.
Just walking right in. This would have never happened, ever in a million years. Would have never happened. And I know him very well. I know him probably almost as well as I know anybody in this room other than Doc Ronnie. Trump said Putin's smart. I mean, he's taken over a country for $2 worth of sanctions. I'd say that's pretty smart. He's taking over a country, really a vast location, a great piece of land with a lot of people, and just walking right in. This would have never happened, ever in a million years. Would have never happened. And I know him very well. I know him probably almost.
Y'all see how he plays on words? I'm gonna pause it right there. This will never happen. Never happen. And he didn't finish his sentence. He didn't say it would never happen in a million years under his watch. This man plays on words. He's not a dummy as much as he is a dummy. Please, let's listen again. And then I'll read your comments. Exactly, Uncle Stu. Army is ready. You understand me? Don't play with me. But I can't even lie. Marines been ready. Marines were ready 2 weeks ago. Crazy
Trump
ass.
said Putin's smart. I mean, he's taken over a country for $2 worth of sanctions. I'd say that's pretty smart. He's taking.
Do you guys notice how the room is uncomfortably quiet? Like no one's amening him. No one's whatever. Like to me, the people are very much into their meal and they're really not engaging into this speech. Take a listen.
Over a country, really a vast location, a great piece of land. And just walking right in. This would have never happened.
Y'all see this? This would have never happened ever in a million years. It would have never happened. Happened how? It's so easy to talk trash about the shark once you're out the water. Come on, man. Like, bruh, finish your sentence. This would never happen when? How?
Ever in a million years would have never happened. And I know him very well. I know him probably almost as well as I know anybody in this room.
I know him very well. I know him just as well as I know just about anybody in this room. Okay. This is what a lot of people think. Thank you, Republicans. I couldn't have screwed your nation without you. Wow. Some people think it's Biden's fault. You guys can talk about it as long as we keep it respectful. I think it's Putin's fault. I'm not clear because it all hasn't unfolded, but I'm not 100% confident in excluding Trump in any of this. Because like I said, to me, he cowered to Putin, but some people thought he was a powerful force against Putin. You guys let me know. I didn't see it. That I didn't see from Trump, but I don't know. The Russian people realize Trump is no longer president, right? Is this an attempt to gain support from the DFG for 2024? I don't know. I don't know what all that. Oh, okay. Y'all in Photoshop, I cannot. I can't. I literally can't. All right, true. Let's see. What does that say? I clicked on it and something open. True, that was the plan. The looming U.S. withdrawal from the Open Skies Treaty. Okay. GOP reckoning in full view. They are going down hard if they defend this. I don't think so. They've defended worse, child. Listen. Nope. What else? Lock him up. All right, that's it. I'm done. I can't take too much of that dude. All right, let's see. Fact checkers. Fact checking warn of old footage being falsely associated with the Ukraine invasion. I have seen that. And that's why I try to go real time, making sure like, hey, this is really, really real time what I'm showing you guys. All right, let's go. We talked about the sanctions. Look at this map.
Strikes, aerial strikes, and Russian troops moving forward. Again, we don't know exactly where those Russian troops will go, what they will do, how or when or if they will attack Kiev, but it is something we're standing by for at the moment, David.
I mean, I'm not a military strategist, but if you look at this doggone map, listen, it looks like to me they're surrounding, what's that? Not battleship, freaking chess and checkers. Like listen, looks pretty strategic to me. You guys tell me what you think. Looks pretty strategic to me. All they need to go, so they already got Moldova down there. They're not crossing into Poland as of yet. Jesus. Yeah. Anyway. Again, you never let a wounded tiger lion get back up. People hurt Trump's pride and feelings. He may not have the puppet strings, but he's sure touching them. Listen, very good point. Army is ready. Some was not sent over there already. They left last night. Listen, I told y'all. 82nd Airborne, 101st. Dang it, I keep forgetting Fort Hood. Listen, I'm not even gonna put our people out there. I'm not gonna, what's the word? I'm not gonna dox them, but OPSEC. I'm not gonna violate OPSEC, but which is Operation Security. I'm not gonna say who going where and all of that, but listen, I'm with you. They are ready. Why is everyone shocked at Trump? Like having a snake in the house and getting startled that it bit someone. We saw a different side when he vocalized stuff with Kremlin. Yep. Congress is the only people that can declare war. The president of the United States can send troops in a police action manner. It's not good over here in VA. I'm stressed. Yeah, I did see some, don't stress out, Uncle Stu, but I did see some active duty troops in Virginia. Like, listen, I don't want to say who going where and how they going, but judging by the people that I know, man, they ready. But also know our military stay ready. They stay ready. Fox 4 in Texas said Trump mistakenly said the U.S. bombed Ukraine. The U.S. will definitely be involved because there's allegedly bomb threats towards U.S. now. How many Putin supporters are here? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's look at that. Let me see if I can find that footage of him saying Trump. All right. Let me see. Trump Fox News. Someone says, grow up. Trump spent all his time tweeting and watching TV. People will see what they want to see, just like people claim other people will see what they want to see. Is this the video? It is. All right, hold on. Let's see. When he said Trump calls into Fox News as Putin announces special military operations. I want the video, okay? There we go. Let me share this. I don't know what's going to be said. Don't hold it against me. All right, here we go. Is it that? No, it's this. Let's do that. And
now, President Trump, thank you for joining us tonight via telephone. You're watching this unfold. Your reaction to Putin's threat if any Western nation or any nation intervenes with this Russian military action?
Well, this is something that should have never happened. This would not have happened during my administration. In fact, some people were saying, why didn't this take place over the last 4 years during our administration? And it didn't, for a very good reason. And I'll explain that to you someday. But it wouldn't have taken place. And it wouldn't have taken place.
I cannot. He's such a manipulator. I'll explain that to you one day. Boy, if you don't sit down somewhere.
Right now. And it's a very sad thing for the world, for the country. And it's certainly very sad for a lot of people that are going to be needlessly.
If you're going to come after someone and clap back and say, you know what, this would have never happened under my watch. And it wouldn't happen because of a very serious reason. And I'll tell you guys later. Are y'all okay with that? I'm not. Say it or shut up about it.
Killed.
Well, give us a sense, though. I mean, you know Vladimir Putin. I mean, you've dealt with him. How would you have avoided this conflict? How would you have prevented these series of events from unfolding?
Well, look, I do know him, and I know him very well. We've had many times together. I got along with him fantastically. Despite the fact that I shut down Nord Stream 2, nobody would have heard of Nord Stream 2 if it weren't for me. I'm the one that shut it down. And I'm the one that told Angela, you're doing a terrible thing by doing this. And they were going to get 75%, not 30%, 75% of their energy from Nord Stream 2. It was ridiculous. If you remember, I told you this privately once. I sent them a white flag, a flag of surrender,
I gave it to, she said, what does this mean? I said, that means you'll surrender as far as Russia is concerned. They've had a lot of conflicts over the centuries. So I think that it's a terrible thing. The way it started, I really don't believe he wanted to do this initially. I think he wanted to do something and negotiate, and it just got worse and worse. And then he saw the weakness. And it really started, I think, with the weakness in Afghanistan, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan. I really believe that's where he started thinking, he can do this.
I swear they have the same talking points. I heard, y'all remember we heard this last night in the comment section.
Because when he saw how pathetic.
Now, President Trump, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yep, the same talking points that we had last night. I never saw it, so thanks for that, Ms. Barron. And nobody asked why it never happened under Trump administration. Nobody, just the comment section yesterday mentioned it. Like, I don't see him as this strong force against Putin under his administration. Stop it. As a matter of fact, let's look. Let's look. Let's get the facts, because I saw an article last night. Trump, Putin. That's all I'm searching. They groomed Trump even earlier than that because Putin plays the long game. Okay. Oh, geez. All right. Here's a meme. Let's just play on Twitter, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to go live later. Those of you that are used to seeing me live on Thursday evening, because I don't know how long this live. We're already at 2 hours. And y'all know that I believe in balance in reporting and balance on my YouTube live. So I cannot promise a live later on tonight. But for now, I'm having fun on this live. I just want to give you guys a heads up. Anyway, so people seem to, so this is the meme using Kanye Photoshop. It says Russia wouldn't be invading Ukraine if Trump was president. Mo feels like me. People seem to forget how much Trump used to kiss Putin's feet. Absolutely. Stop. But they won't, so I'm wasting my time. That's that. Maybe Putin promised the presidency of Ukraine to Trump. I can't. Somebody said all Trump would have done is spread his burnt cheeks to Putin. Let's be real. Someone says Trump's still trying for that Moscow hotel, still attempting to dismantle democracy at home and to turn the world over to tyrants. He dreams of being a player on that sick stage, but he's only a pawn in their game. Putin and Xi disrespect Trump as much as he despises his base. Forgot about the hotel. The other part is I just think it's not good vibes, politically correct, to openly go against your country and the current president in support of Putin. That's just the bottom line. Someone says, oh my God, just shut up about Trump already. He was useless puppet that Putin had in his pocket. Trump was the worst president this world has ever seen. Some people think he was the best. Opinion, what Trump's lavish praise of Putin reveals. Let's see. That's MSNBC. I'm not opening that right now. Putin did this. Trump loves Putin. All right. Let's see. Mike Flynn is in Putin's pocket. Trump's first choice as his national security advisor. Trump wanted Flynn and thereby Putin to have direct access to the most highly classified information available to the U.S. government. Is Trump a Putin asset? Duh. So this is Randy Bull in response to Mike Rothschild. He says Mike Flynn released an incoherent statement on Ukraine. Among the highlights are reference to a, quote, a certain Biden-owned laptop, Putin laying down, quote, a new world order market, the, quote, fraudulent presidential election, and, quote, legitimate ethnic problems in Ukraine. Yikes. Okay. When Biden was VP, Putin took Crimea. When Trump was president, Putin didn't invade. Biden is president, and now Putin invades Ukraine again. Hunter Biden took millions from both countries, so no way to know what Biden is thinking. We'll see. Your dear leader, Trump, will be remembered as, I'm just going on tweets. Everybody's fighting with each other. Dear leader Trump, Your dear leader Trump will be remembered as a former president that sided with Putin. Seems right, as he was Putin's puppet. So again, just like anything else in the United States, you know, we got freedom of speech and talking, and not only that, people will have their own opinion, and you're entitled to express it here as long as, you know, it's with respect. Anyway, no offense, but where Trash Can Waves at? He probably at work. Russia is trying to bypass NATO sanctions dealing with Bitcoins and crypto. When you let Putin know US closes their account, this is what happens. Right. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do ahead of time. I never saw. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see if there's any breaking news before we head out of here. And again, if there's something else, we'll be back. We'll be back. All right. Breaking news. Russian tanks roll past CNN reporter as they appear to head towards Ukraine. So this was 8 seconds ago. Let's see. As I told you guys, the rollout of the tanks continue. All right. So here's a breaking news. War stops now. Breaking news. Okay. So they're just, let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. The AFP news agency is reporting that a transport plane crashes in Russia. Crew killed, defense ministry. Oh, wow. I don't know about this, but we'll see. This is what's being reported. Let's see if anybody else is reporting. Global News is reporting the same thing. All right, we have a change. I told you I'll be here as long as the breaking news and there's changing. I'm not going to keep going over and talking about the same talking points, but it's being reported that a 26 military transport plane crashed in Voronezh region and all its crew died. This is from the Russian Defense Ministry. All right. Breaking news. A 26 military transport plane. It's a Russian plane. And this is from the Russian Defense Ministry. Let's see what else. So different from last night, what? Biden came out in this live with the speech, but we're not ending because, like I said, that was just breaking news. Chernobyl has been seized, and we don't know. We do know that it's a strategic point where they can enter into other areas of Ukraine of interest, but it's also highly radioactive. So it's just like, Trump is trending because he is praising Putin and has praised Putin. And there's sort of a war of words going on between the United States citizens, those that agree with Trump and those that are like, you're full of crap. So that's that part. But again, it's being reported like breaking news that this military transport plane crashed, losing all its members. So let's see. As I stated, it was breaking news at first. Let's see. All right. Not much. Okay, so this was the video of the Russian tanks rolling past the reporter. But that's not more interesting than the plane going down. Let me. AFP news agency is reporting the this was breaking news last night, but it's breaking again. Ukraine seeks urgent Human Rights Council session of the UN. Okay, that's that. Let's see what BBC News is reporting. So this is why. So they're reporting on why this will be a global catastrophe. All right. So it's, you know what? So it says energy bills, petroleum, and plane ticket prices could jump. As I stated, my son is traveling now. I told you guys when I was on live, he was calling me. Well, my daughter called and my son called. And he's flown maybe about 2 months ago, and then like a month before that. So anyway, he's flown recently. He went there and he said security has beefed up 100 times. They've got the dogs out. They are not playing. And he said the airport is packed. So yeah. Trash Can Wave screaming right now. Yeah, he's gonna come on here and be screaming. If he, trust me, if he could, he'd be on here disputing everything from the tweets that I read or not. Like, bottom line, you can't blame Trump for this. I mean, Biden for this. Like, we can judge his reaction, but we can't say this is all on Biden. Like, stop. And we definitely can't say, because we just don't know. We can only judge Trump's actions when he was in office towards Putin. But that was kind of weak. Attention is attention for Trump, whether positive or negative, and that's all of my time for him. I'm done. Sophia said that's all he's getting out of me. I'm not even mentioning the man's name. Let's see. Let's go to Sky News, see what Sky News is talking about. So watch Sky News. So this, oh no, I'm not watching that speech again. So this is.
Куда, сын, на работе я одна? Куда мне бежать? Куди ховатися? Куди? Скажіть, будь ласка.
Jesus.
Ой, Боже мой, Боже. Военное положение. А что, паника, что, паника? Конечно, всем страшно. Дети, куда детей девать? Куда прятаться? Куда деваться надо? Убежищ нету, ничего нету. Ровное место. Куда?
They're getting their money out and going maybe to Poland. Some civilians are rushing to leave the area following Russia's invasion. Look at the kids. Come on, man. How could you turn your head away from this and just go, that's them? All right. So Ukrainian President Zelensky is urging people to stay home as much as possible, but many are queuing at banks before getting ready to leave after Russia launched an invasion in Ukraine. And you know what? I saw that last night. Like I said, I was watching this girl who's in Ukraine, and she was on TikTok, and she was like, pretty much outside of those areas that Putin is trying to, and again, this was last night. It looks like when you look at the map, a lot of that has changed. But she was saying pretty much we just, some people are just kind of chilling because they don't think it's going to come towards them. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Trash Can Waves loved him some Orange Man. Yes, he did. See, that right there hurts my soul, the crying. Right. Because here's the thing. I was listening to the lady, and she's like, where do I go? I'm stuck at work. And for us it's a beautiful sunny day here in Arizona. The wind, it's a little chilly. But I'm my stomach is full. I'm warm. I have electricity. If I wanted to, I can sit poolside, take a dip in the pool. Like, I'm living life without the threat or the thought of a threat coming our way. So it's easy for me to judge this lady and say, what do you mean where you go? Go home. But this woman is in shock. She's like, I'm stuck at work. What do I do? That's really one of the important reasons why it's important to plan ahead, especially when you live in regions like this. Stay at home. Okay, what if the house is blown up? Period. Exactly. Let's see. Let me see who else before we head out of here. Sky News breaking. So that was 5 hours ago. I want hours ago. Yeah. Duke and Duchess of Cambridge said they were so excited to be visiting Belize, Jamaica, and Bahamas in March. Nobody care about them. That is so tone deaf right now. Yeah. I don't care nothing about that. Talking about Biden. Let's see. Let's go to Channel 4 News. All right. Here's some people. These people are running away.
Soldiers knocking at the doors of the Capitol.
Come on, man.
These people are running away from the Russian soldiers knocking at the doors of the capital, running to any bus that will take them, always west. Now imagine doing this with your kids.
Jesus.
Your whole past, present, and future suddenly reduced to one suitcase and one burning question. Can you make it onto that bus? Where's this
Well,
bus
we are
going?
trying to get to Poland.
Told you.
Yeah, and fly from Poland, but to be honest, I can't see it happening. So we don't have any buses to take us anywhere.
Are you scared?
I'm okay for now. I'm alive.
Right.
But you never know what will happen like in 5 minutes. So
Can you imagine living in a Ukraine run by one of Vladimir Putin's puppets?
That's a disaster. Of course, no.
But that's what might happen.
We hope no, but I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest.
Thanks to the invasion, it's rush hour every hour with the clock ticking, also at the main train station. The trains in red are the ones cancelled because the destinations have come under attack.
Wow.
Outside, we find Irina, who's been unable to buy a train ticket and who's packed her entire existence onto one cart. What's your message to Vladimir Putin today?
Vladimir Putin, please, go out to our country. Go out, go out. We don't want you. We don't want war and we don't want you. But if you come, it will be very bad because I know our army, I know our people. Now it's panic, but tomorrow it will be all in one.
Okay.
And then it will be very bad for you. Please go out from here. Just go out.
My goodness. It was her deep sigh for me. It was her deep sigh for me. They don't want it. They don't want it. But what do? We are in Kiev, a city now at war after Russia launched an all-out assault on invading Ukraine on several fronts with thousands of troops backed by tanks, planes, and helicopters and artillery fire. Okay. Let's see. Matt Fiery. All right. So what is this?
To do something about it. The reason why Europe is now on the brink of war is largely because of one man's view of Russian history and his autocratic power to do something about it, alone with the demons that he wants to slay. Vladimir Putin, the former KGB agent, used to like portraying himself as a man of action, in touch with nature, who went after fish, not countries. But Mr. Putin has evolved from this. It is an argument about rival interpretations of history, a clash of myths that threatens to become a clash of armies, poised in the snow. Defender of the Fatherland Day in Russia. And the man who has claimed that mantle for over 2 decades as president came to pay his respects.
Еще раз подчеркну, что Украина для нас это не просто соседняя страна. Это неотъемлемая часть нашей собственной истории, культуры, духовного пространства.
This was a stream of consciousness version of a 5,000-word essay that he wrote last summer as Putin, the amateur historian. He was the driving force behind the creation of this giant statue at the gates of the Kremlin in 2016. Prince, then Saint Vladimir, his namesake, converted to Orthodox Christianity in 988. This was the foundation of ancient Russia, and he was its first ruler, its first protector of the fatherland. Except it all took place in Kiev, where there is also a statue of the same saint erected 170 years ago. But here they call him Volodymyr, and they see him as the founder of the Ukrainian nation. His bones and the bones of many of Russia's other great saints are buried in the churches and monasteries of Kiev. If Vladimir Putin were ever to enter the city as the conqueror, expect him to make a beeline for these places. This is his Temple Mount. In his view, there can be no reconstitution of Great Russia without its inclusion. rival versions of the same history. Putin told us again that the breakup of the Soviet Union was a disaster because it allowed Ukraine to break away, diminishing Russia and its historic claim to be a nation anchored in Europe. But that's not how the people of Ukraine see it. They've been defending their right to see the collapse of the Soviet Union as liberation from Moscow's tyranny. That is their version of the past, and they're prepared to pay for it in blood.
So that's the equivalent of, let's say, Texas. And they're like, oh, we want to be independent of the United States. And they become independent for 30, 40 years. The normal United States without Texas decides 35 years later, a president decides, you know what, I kind of liked when Texas was a part of us. And as a matter of fact, the person who I'm named after has a statue over by the Alamo. And I think that in order to make America great again, no pun intended, we should kind of take over the land that is now called Texas United States. That's pretty much what that documentary broke it down to. And yeah, very interesting. Glad I clicked on that. Leave a comment down below if you found that piece helpful. All right, let's see.
The reason why
I'm not watching that again. So Ukraine solidarity at Berlin's at the gate. Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. So it's so Ian Bremmer took a picture, and let me show you this. This was a while back. It wasn't, wait, what's the, today actually, sorry. So it's a picture of, wow, Ukraine solidarity at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate. And as you can see, it's painted the color of their flag. And yeah. Okay. And of course, I'm seeing reports and tweets where people are like, you know, where's the world when, of course, when it's happening in Africa, when it's happening in Palestine, you know, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. Let's see. My Siri just came on. She's talking about, I didn't ask her anything. Let's see what else is happening here. So this is journalist Marina Shankova woke up to bombings in sight. Wait, hold on. Let me pray.
This morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock because I heard the sound of the bomb.
Let me share this with you guys.
In 20 minutes, we took all our stuff and begin our trip to Lviv. This morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock because I heard the sound of the bombs. First of all, I didn't understand what was happening, and I saw that my WhatsApp chat and Facebook scroll was just like firing, and everyone was writing just like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And in this moment, I understood that it was really bombs, and not only in my district, in the other districts of Kiev too. So I was with my mom, and in 20 minutes, we took all our stuff and begin our trip to Lviv. My mom is driving now. So the Lviv is the western part of Ukraine. We hope that we will be safe there. I saw a lot of people were driving the cars, the full cars with the babies, little babies, with the cats, dogs, and full of stuff. Of course, there were great traffic jams outside the Kiev, and the awful situation on the petrol stations. Everyone wants to buy some petrol and maybe some water. As usually, it's taking like 5 hours to reach to Lviv, but now we are moving more than 8 hours and we still on the road. I also have one stop on the petrol station, and everyone are frightened really, but everyone helping each other. If someone needs some water or some help with the baby, everyone helping each other. During my road, a lot of friends from Kiev called me. They asked to help me with the apartment in Lviv or in the western part of Ukraine. So I was just like calling, helping, finding some flats. Of course, my house is also open for them, and some of them are moving to me already. We saw a lot of Ukrainian militaries on our road to Lviv, and it was very interesting feeling because we saw our army. We was a little bit frightened, but all people were saying hello to them and showing their respect. We believe and we hope that they will protect and save us.
Thank you. I am just as muted as I want to be. What I was saying was I was going through, looking around, seeing if there was any breaking news other than what we've seen. And thanks, Melissa Barron. At least I didn't cry today. So thank you in chat for keeping someone's peace of mind intact somewhere in the world. Exactly. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Thank you for chiming in. Let me know, girl, you're muted again. When the sound is playing, I like to mute myself because it just comes off better. But what I was saying is I'm checking the breaking news, seeing if anything else has come of this. So let's see. What is this? Biden details new Russian sanctions, saying aggression cannot go unanswered. And like I said, it's just a play on words. It's a play on words. There will be troop involvement. Absolutely. American troop involvement. I think so. That's just my opinion. We talked, let's see. Fox News host corrects Trump after he mistakenly thought U.S. troops were landing in Ukraine as Russia launched this attack. Okay, this is what we were looking for, Sophia. So the commercial is playing now. As soon as that commercial gets done, we'll hear where he said America was invading. So let's see.
Dangerous as you told me about the amphibious attack by Americans. You shouldn't be saying that because you and everybody else shouldn't know about it. They should do that secretly, not be doing that through the great Laura Ingraham. They should be doing that secretly. Nobody should know that, Laura. And you know,
that was the Russian. Those are the Russian amphibious
Well,
landing.
I thought you said that we were sending people.
No, I did not. No. That would be news. That would be news.
During a call in from former President Donald Trump on Fox News, Ingrid Angle Wednesday, he said that, dang it moved too fast. Let me read it. Let me go back. Trump erroneously thought the U.S. was being deployed in Ukraine after Laura Ingraham mentioned that Russian forces were reportedly engaged in an amphibious attack there. So she corrected him.
Amphibious attack by Americans. You shouldn't be saying that because you and everybody else shouldn't know about it. They should do that secretly, not be doing that through the great Laura Ingraham. They should be doing that secretly. Nobody should know that, Laura. And you know,
that was the Russian. Those are the Russian amphibious landing.
I thought you said that we were sending people.
No, I did not. No. That would be news. That would be news.
And you know what, Aaron, that's all we need. That'll be next, okay? Now, we ought to protect our own borders. You know, we ought to get to the southern border and start protecting the southern border. But it's a very terrible situation. It's a situation.
Okay. So there you have it. That was that. So Sophia, we both hadn't saw that yet, and that's what he was referring to. Let me check one more news source, and we'll be back because I already know I'm gonna be back. Putin's goddaughter leads fury against invasion. Okay. Kanye is attacking Pete. No surprise there. Oh, here's breaking news, or here's news. I don't know how breaking it is. You guys probably already saw it, but it says more than 150 senior Russian officials signed open letter condemning Putin's invasion of Ukraine as, quote, an unprecedented atrocity and warned of catastrophic consequences while urging citizens not to participate. Huh. And this is right around the time they also reporting, you know, Putin sends a warning to the West, don't get involved or else. So, looks like Putin's very own 150 senior Russian officials are not agreeing to this invasion. So, all right. Okay. Not surprised there. So this is a mess. I know, Vaughn. There's no other way to describe it, but an absolute mess. And I think other than the people that actually live in that region, those of us that are of a certain age, we know this isn't. Nah. And respectfully, you know, guys in the chat, replay game, I don't see how, because this is such a long historic event that has been taking place over time. What did it say? 30 years, the video I showed a few minutes back. So if this is a 30-year situation with Putin and the history and everything, how can you sit and blame a Biden? You can't. Now, hello, sir. And yes, mess indeed. Let's see. I can't find that video. I'm probably not. You're going to have to watch the replay and kind of fast forward. We've been sharing a lot of videos. Who is this? Annalyn McCord. She's an actress. So now actresses, and I'm not sharing her little. She's like, "Dear Mr. President Putin," and it's a whole video. Listen, I don't have the emotional, I don't have the cells in my brain to even play that. Okay, Scaramucci says, Putin is finished. We are watching the final days of his sordid history. The breach will come from within. Well, he has a point, only because I just read where it's being reported 150 of Russian senior officials was like, no, this is not the move. So he doesn't have support of at least 150 senior level Russian officials, his people. Someone's tweeting, I got my eyes on China. We all do. I'm looking at North Korea. Y'all look at China while I look at North Korea, okay? And while the world looks at them. North Korea, I don't know. I know China probably wants a piece of the action. You know, I just feel like I said last night, they sit around and they be like, listen, I want a piece. Like, don't show them attention. I want some attention. Jeez. Oh, Ukraine presidency says Russian forces have captured Chernobyl. Okay, we talked about that already. Meghan McCain. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a parody or truly everyone in Hollywood is just out of their minds. But thank you to this actress lady for making me smile for the first time in 24 hours. Girl, you named it. War's over. All right, so let's see what she says. Meghan said she's making a good point. So let's listen to what she says. I don't even know this lady. Y'all know who she is? Anna Lynn McCord. Child, I don't know who this is.
The pure demise of Nick.
Here we go.
Vladimir Putin. Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm. So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul-stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought quickly taught that you lived in a cruel, unjust world. Is this why you now decide no one will get the best of you? Is this why you do not hide nor away shy from taking back the world? Was it because so early in life, all that strife racked your little body with fear? If I was your mother, if the world was cold, I'd have died to make you warm. I'd have died to protect you from the unjust, the violence, the terror, the uncertainty. I would have died to give you life. Oh, dear Mr. President Putin, if only I'd been your mother. Perhaps the torture of unwrit youth would not within your heart imbue ascription to such fealty against that world that you thought was so cruel. Perhaps you would hold dear human life, and on this night, instead of Mother Russia, you would call me, and I would set your mind quite free with the love that only a mother can give, and only a mother can take away. When holds she doesn't the harm at bay and leaves her boy for the promise of a man. Whatever your story, Mr. President Putin, I can't imagine how it feels in your heart, but I know if I was your mother, that would be a start towards the awareness of what a powerful being of light you could be if your mind was only free from the violence you've seen when you were just 2 or 3. I cannot believe I was born too late, in a different place, when I would have loved you so, watched you play wherever you go.
All right, that was that. Sophia says, oh no, you don't poke a beehive. You sure don't. And that's all that was. It was delivered with soft tones and everything, but it was very provoking and interesting. Oh Lord. All right, here we go. Ukrainian woman confronts Russian soldiers in Henichesk, Kherson region, asking them why they came to our land, and urges to put sunflower seeds in their pockets so the flowers would grow when they die in the Ukrainian land. Okay, ma'am. Well, let's see. Let's see. You got a Ukrainian Karen saying, go home, soldiers.
Пожалуйста, не будем обсуждать вопрос. Наш с вами разговор ни к чему не приведет. Ничего не решит.
Нашу землю, возьмите семечки, положите в игры. Хоть под комнате, раз ты когда сейчас.
Пожалуйста, не будем обсуждать вопрос. Наш с вами разговор ни к чему не приведет.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. These people are not very willing to give up their home. Ukraine's armed forces report they reclaimed the Hostomel airport near Kiev. Okay. Because we reported yesterday that the airport was under siege. Today, they're like, nope, we're good. Oh my goodness, I can't. This is, all right, this is the last one. This is a Ukrainian father of young children saying goodbye to them as he plans to stay and fight for his country. The bravery and courage needed to fight for your freedom can't be understated. All right, so let me show y'all, since I can't unsee it, I'm gonna let y'all see it. Oh, I need to take these contacts out my eyes too. All right. Oh, he said he's gonna stay. Wow. I know the feeling in a different way. And so I can't even imagine doing it so organically like this, where he's sending his family wherever he's sending them, but he's like, I'm going to stay. And when I say organic, like it's not through a military official thing. So she don't know if that's the last time she's going to see him. At least when my husband deployed, I knew people knew where he was at. They knew where he was going. There's record of him. That is just terrible. You have to know when to pull the reverse psychology card. Abort, lady, please stop. Yeah. That's tough. I know exactly how they feel, but I don't know how they feel because, like I said, that's kind of raw. Okay. So it looks like my Governor DeSantis, just attacked the press in his speech at CPAC, calling it a blizzard of lies. He says the press is intent on propping up the regime in the United States, which he calls the Brandon administration. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about the protests in Russia. Phone conversation with Justin Trudeau. Today, there's a full-scale war throughout. We demand the immediate imposition of additional tough sanctions against Russia. Now more than ever, we need concrete support. I count on leadership of Canada in this process. So this is just a regular citizen, for lack of a better term. He tweets out, I can no longer function. I'm just breaking down in tears. My city, my country, my people are so beautiful, friendly, peaceful. We're fighting and we'll keep fighting, but my beautiful country will never be the same. Nothing will ever be the same. China, according to Fred Gutenberg, who is a verified, nothing. He's verified. It looks like one of his kids were killed in Parkland or something like that. But anyway, he says China just announced its support of Russia's attack on the Ukraine. I will now look at every product I buy if made in China. I will not buy it any longer. Time to punish these countries that intend harm to democracy around the world. Okay. Yeah, everyone's waking up. Everyone's waking up. Okay. What's happening here? Okay. I don't know what that is. Let me check one more breaking news source. And then we'll get out of here and come back a little later if something else jumps off, like as major as the taking over Chernobyl. Okay. Headlines are Fox News host played down, Russian invasion. Yeah, nothing much. Russian attacks Ukraine as defiant Putin warns U.S. and NATO. Putin orders Russian forces. Yeah. Live updates. Let's see. So I just reported on that. They're reporting on Trudeau condemning Russia. Crowds gather in central Paris in support of Ukraine. We talked about that. Why some world leaders are considering removing Russia from a banking system known as SWIFT. I didn't know what SWIFT was until like just now, a couple of minutes ago, when right before Biden's speech, I was going through the news and I was like, what is this SWIFT? And then as I was researching, it came up a little bit. The Russian sanctions. The Russian military transport aircraft crashes near Ukraine. Remember that? Russian state news agency report. So Russia is saying the crew died. Canada suspends embassy and consulate operations in Ukraine temporarily. Hopefully people are out of there. Here's what the Russian sanctions Biden announced will do and who they will target. Let's take a look at about that, and then we will head out. But before we do, let me check out this comment. Sophia says, Ms. Berrien, I love you, sis. I'm getting those I love you messages again. So I need to spiritually go to my man, my hero. Y'all take care. Absolutely. Take care and keep me updated on how he's doing, and let him know we're praying for his safety. Email me. My email is linked below if, like I said, just to keep me updated on a private sector and not here in the chat. Anyway, let's take a look at these sanctions. Specifically, President Biden came on and he announced newly sanctions against Russia for his invasion of Ukraine will take some time to have their full impact. He said, oh, we don't know. We'll see the impact a month or two or whatever. And I'm like, sir, Ukraine won't have that time. He says this is going to take time and we have to show resolve. So he knows what's coming. And so the people of Russia know what he's brought on them. That's what this is about. He also added, he's not going to say, oh my God, these sanctions are coming. I'm going to stand down. He's going to test the resolve of the West to see if we are together. And we will. We will, and it will be imposed a significant cost on him. The president also said that the sanctions are critical for sending a message to Russian President Vladimir Putin. So again, we talked about it. I aired it, the president's speech. But right now, I want to dive into what these actual sanctions are about and who will they affect. So here's a look at the unveiled sanctions and who they target according to the White House. First, we're going to cut off Russia's largest financial institution, Sberbank, and 25 of its subsidiaries from the U.S. financial system. It holds nearly 1/3 of the overall Russian banking sector's assets. So that's significant. Full blocking sanctions on VTB Bank, Russia's second largest bank, and 20 of its subsidiaries. A full blocking sanctions on 3 other large. So they're hitting them with the money. They're hitting them in the banks. They're hitting them, the banks, the Russian banks, and everyone else that's under them. They said they're going to cut off 13 major state-owned companies from raising money from the U.S. market. So there are apparently 13 major state-owned banks who raise money through our U.S. market. The list includes Sberbank, Alpha Bank, Credit Bank of Moscow, Gazprom Bank, Russian Agricultural Bank, Gazprom, Gazprom Neft, Transneft, Rostelecom, Rush Hydro, Alrosa, Sovcomflot, and Russian Railways. Then we're going to sanctions on Russian elites and family members. That part I was like, oh, okay, all right. The list: Sergei Ivanov, his son Sergei, Andrei Patrus, and his son Nikolai, Igor, Andrei, Yuri, and 2 real estate companies he owns. So they're going after the elites of the country. Sanctions on 24 Belarusian people and companies, which includes 2 significant Belarusian state-owned banks, 9 defense firms, and 7 regime-connected officials and elites, according to the White House. They're going to impose sanctions on the Russian military, sanctions on certain technological imports into Russia. So there you have it. That's a list of the sanctions that President Biden was just talking about. And again, it seems as if the last update was the prime minister condemning the Russian attack. So yeah. Nothing too much else. Again, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to come on tonight with my 6 o'clock show. As a matter of fact, I probably won't. Make sure you guys catch up here. I definitely okay, so it's 1. I may come back at 3 or 4. If something breaks off, I'll be back. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow for my regular show, Sipping and Just Saying. But in the meantime, be kind to one another, because we just never know what people are going through. Y'all know what I say. And I will be keeping you posted on anything that's breaking. Once it breaks, I'm hopping right back on. So with that being said, stay tuned, hit the notification bell. If you like unpacking the news with me, hit the notification, hit the all, so that way you will be among the first to know when content like this, as well as trending topics, reactions, and all of that, when I go live. Okay. So in the meantime, in between time, I'll holler at you guys in a few. I don't know. I can't say, because I have to just see and keep my eye on what's going on. But right now, other than the airstrikes and ongoing airstrikes and mobilization, nothing else is impending. So if Biden goes live or someone else, Putin comes on, I'll definitely be back. So look out. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.